Welcome back to FM Story. As we head into season 9 of our save with Sporting, we're looking for our 8th title in a row. Last season, we were one game away from being invincible in the league. It's unlikely that we're going to get that close to being invincible this season, but despite going that close to being unbeaten, last season was a bit of a disappointment. A round of 16 defeat in the Champions League. We lost in the final of the Allianz Cup. Hopefully we can do better in those competitions this year, whilst also retaining the league and the Taça de Portugal. So without further ado, let's get into season 9. So it's time for the beginning of the season. We are starting the season at home to Benfica. Before we get into that, let's have a look at what we've done in the summer. Unfortunately, we have already played one game this season, which was the Super Taça, which we lost 2-0. And to make matters worse, we lost to Braga, who lost the playoff at the end of last season and got relegated down to the second division. Basically, we were abysmal. That, on the heels of losing the last game of the league season against Famalicão and the defeat to Arsenal in the round of 16 in the Champions League last season, has got us looking at potentially changing the formation. But we're going to start with what we know, especially with us playing Benfica first up. We've got Porto before the end of September as well. So it's important to get off to a good start. Transfer-wise, we were able to agree a wage with Pedri. So we signed Pedri for the 65 million that was agreed in the loan contract. And then largely the other signings have all been players who are young players that we can potentially develop, because the ones we signed a couple of seasons ago are now starting to bear fruit and starting to be ready for the first team. We've sent a lot of players out on loan. Son retired at the end of last season. The one player that we signed that's probably going to go straight into the first team picture is Ivica Savic, Serbian goalkeeper, 23 years old, already played 26 times for Serbia, and just those goalkeeping attributes. Muso's now starting to come down in ability as he's getting older, so hopefully Savic can be an improvement. But between the two of them, hopefully we should be pretty secure in goal. From the season preview, obviously we've won 7 titles in a row now. We're big favourites to win the title again. If you look at the Media Dream 11, it is all our players apart from Fabio Vieira. And interestingly, this is what they think we're going to go with in terms of a formation. I mean, we're certainly not going to play Simovic. We say this every year when we come to the Media Dream 11. We're not going to play Simovic at centre-half at 5'8" or whatever he is. Klim's probably not going to play in the number 10 role. But, it's pretty close to what we're probably going to start the season with, particularly in that game against Benfica. Now we just need to kick on and start the season well. So this is the team we're going into the game against Benfica with. We've obviously brought Savage in goal. We've opted for Al-Azli instead of Estevez at the back. We've gone with Konstantin Klim instead of Isugo because he's been injured in pre-season. Because Pedri is the only one not available, he failed a fitness test. We've moved Arda into the number 10 role with Nunes playing from the right. And then we're starting Siaka Kouame, who we signed a couple of seasons ago from a team in the Ivory Coast. He went out on loan last season and really has developed and actually looks like he could be our sort of best centre forward at the moment, although his attributes of finishing are a bit of a concern for that position. But this is the team we're going to go out with, and obviously we're going to have to hope that we can put in a much better performance than we put in the Super Taça against Braga. Right, Simovic finds Arda in the box, loops up, and they've headed clear. As far as the Simovic, Konstantin Klim, Santos, Klim. Oh! What a finish, what a start to the game. Obviously, the last time we played Benfica was in the Allianz Cup final where they beat us on penalties. Klim and Santos working well outside the box. Klim just drifts inside, gets to the edge of the box, and then rifles the ball past the keeper to open the scoring in the 3rd minute. Right, they've got a corner, and we managed to head clear, but they've still got it. I mean, that's the first shot of the game. So Kissidou comes to chase the ball out, and they get past him far too easily, and then no one goes out to chase Zaccagni, and he's able to just drill it across Savage into the back of the net. Right, they've got a free kick with Campos. Oh. Nyanzu striding forward, finds Nunes. Al-Azli. Santos finds Nunes in the box this time. Why? Hit it. I mean, I think we've got quite lucky there because that looked like it took a massive deflection, but they could have taken a shot 10 times there. Simovic goes past his man, could pull it back. In the end, pulls it back to the edge of the box. Klim hits it, and yeah, that's taking a massive deflection off their defender. And there we go. That's a much better performance from us than we put in the Super Attacker. Unfortunately, they've barely been in the game, but they've looked quite dangerous when they've got the ball near our box. We need to be a bit more secure at the back, and we need to start taking some more of these chances as well. But overall, the first game of the season, local derby against our biggest rival, and bearing in mind that we just didn't turn up last week in the Super Attacker, it's a pretty decent start so far. Simovic with throw, Harry Kane into Rivera, into Kwame, and there we go. Kwame gets his first goal for the club, and that puts us 3-1 up and gives us a bit of breathing space with a 2-goal advantage. Kane just round the corner to Rivera, between two defenders. Kwame first time smashes it past the keeper. Right, Klim into Rivera, who loses out. He then gets on the loose ball, cross it in. Kwame hits the bar, but he was offside. And keeping the ball pretty well. Rivera pulls it across. Kwame nods it home. And they're going to check this for offside, but surely he was onside there. Simovic just slides it down the side to Rivera, who just lifts the ball up into the near post, and Kwame from point blank range heads home to get his second of the game. Right, they've got the ball on the edge of our area. Malacia pulls it across. Rualt heads clear. Kane gets his head on it as well. We've forced them back to the halfway line. Now they're through. I mean, I don't think that was offside either, surely. It's just poor defending. Rualt misses his header. Savage got something on it but couldn't keep it out. We are looking a bit, but do you know what? 4-2. First game of the season, first home game of the season. Derby against our biggest rival. Definitely take that. And it puts us in a better position than we thought we were after losing that Super Attacker. We're now into the middle of September. We've got a big game away at Porto. Since the game on the opening day of the season against Benfica, we've had two pretty comfortable victories. We beat Gil Vicente 6-1 away from home. Kwame got a hat-trick. And then we beat newly promoted Paredes at home 6-1. Kwame again got 2 goals. Unfortunately, he's now decided that he wants to play more regularly. He wants his playing time increased so that he can get into the national setup. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to increase his playing time, considering since he came back off loan, we've played 4 games this season and he started all of them. We've had the transfer window. The transfer window's now closed. We've not done any further. As far as the league's concerned, we've played 3 games up to now. We've won every one of them. We've got a plus 12 goal difference. Kwame is the leading goal scorer. Konstantin Klim and Arda have been outstanding. By far and away the highest average ratings. We are currently only second in the table, but that's because Estoril have played 2 games more than us. But obviously this is going to be a big game away at Porto, because obviously if they beat us, they're going to go above us on the table. Hopefully we can come away with the victory. The transfer window has closed as well since at the end of August. We've not done any more ins or outs, although big clubs have tried to come in and unsettle our players. Prior to the Paredes game, David Rivera got upset because we turned down an offer from Man City for him. Farhad Al-Azli has really got upset because we turned down an offer from Arsenal and an offer from Inter Milan for him. In the end, we did try to sell him on deadline day, but no one would come in and reach the value. So he's probably going to go in January, I would think, which means we've recalled Walter Bravo, another one of the young players that we'd signed a couple of seasons ago from his loan spell. So he'll be the one to act as cover for Goncalo Estevez, I think, going forward. And obviously now we've got this big game against Porto. So this is the team we go into the game against Porto with. We've got Savic in goal, Estevez, Rualt, Nianzou and Simovic in defence, Santos and Klim in front of them, Pedri, Arda and Rivera behind the front man of Kouame. So pretty much I think probably our strongest lineup that we've got available to ourselves at the moment. And let's hope that Kouame can continue the form that he's shown at the start of the season. He's got 7 league goals already in 3 games. As far as Porto are concerned, they did do some business towards the end of the transfer window. Their big signing was Josh Sargent to play up front. So hopefully he's not acclimatised to the team yet, although we have had a good fortnight since the transfer deadline closed. Right, Rualt with a free kick, wide to Estevez, Guillem Santos into Arda, Estevez into the box. Santos loses out and now they're going to counter-attack. Rivera wins it back. Rivera onto Simovic into the box. And somehow he's squeezed it home. Despite the fact that he's a left back, his right foot is stronger than his left. He's got into that box there. Rivera finds Simovic on the overlap. He cuts in and somehow he's beaten the keeper at the near post with his right foot there. And you'd have to say that's probably against the run of play so far. You'd say that's a pretty even first half so far. They seem to have the better of the opening half hour or so. Once we got the goal, then we've kind of grown more into the game. We just need to make sure we don't do anything stupid in the second half to throw away this potential victory. Right, Rualt with a free kick into Santos. Arda to Estevez on the overlap. Back to Arda into the box. He's pulled it across. Kouame's first shot was blocked and he's poked home the rebound off the keeper. And that's 2-0 up. And probably going to need to make a change, I think, at left back, looking at how tired Simovic is looking. But we've done well in wide positions in this game so far. And there we go. Another victory. 4 wins from 4. And with half of those coming against Benfica and Porto, that's got to put us in a really strong position for the rest of the season, hopefully. We've made it to the end of September. Since the Porto game, we've played a couple of league games and a game in the Champions League. We started off with a trip to Chelsea in the Champions League and ran out 2-1 winners. We got an early goal from Nunes. Kouame doubled the lead just on half-time, just after they'd had a goal disallowed for offside. Kai Havertz pulled a goal back for them late on, but otherwise, pretty comfortable victory and a decent start to the Champions League. We were then at home to Pacos de Ferreira. Because we've had a few games in short span of time, we kind of rotated pretty much the whole team, and we ended up running out 1-0 victors. It did take us a while to break them down. Kouame again, the goal scorer, late on. In the end, we made hard work of it, but a pretty decent victory. And then in the most recent game, we went away to Arouca. We went behind early on, but fought back to win 2-1. They had a player sent off and we took advantage with Harry Kane scoring a penalty. It means, as far as the league's concerned, is that we've won 6 from 6. We're 4 points clear of Estoril, 5 points clear of Porto, and 7 points ahead of Benfica. So we've had a pretty decent start to the season. Kouame's got 9 goals in 6 games. Rivera, Kouame and Constantin Klim are well clear at the top of the average rating, and Rivera and Klim have got the most assists as well. And all in all, it's been a pretty decent start to the season. And that's the end of another episode. In the end, a pretty decent start to the season, despite the defeat against the second division team in the Super Saka. We've started the Champions League as well. Obviously, we've got 2 of our most difficult league games out the way with the wins against Porto and Benfica. We've got a couple of difficult games coming up in the next couple of months in the Champions League. We've got Atletico, we've got Man City, we've got Wolfsburg as well. Hopefully, we can put in some decent performances in those games, and hopefully we can just continue this good start to the league. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.